Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits Experiences video. Well, in this case, let's go ahead and let's share another frightful experience when it comes to the world of ghosts and spirits. This one, yet again, coming from the Reddit.com website. They're from the subreddit called Real Ghost Stories. This one having to do not just with shadow people, but apparently noises and apparitions and even some kind of weird sensations that people are having within this household. It comes from a user by the name of No Economist 1871, and they aptly titled theirs as Childhood Home. It gives an eerie feeling because you never know essentially what's going to happen when you're living in your own home and you have these things going on around you. So let's go ahead and let's share this entry here, and then once again I'll give my own thoughts and comment on it afterward. So here's essentially what this user stated. Okay, so let me preface this by saying that the house I've lived most of the 22 years in was built by my mom on vacant land, so nobody has died here or anything. When I was younger, a lot of creepy stuff used to happen. Most nights I'd hear footsteps up the hall, followed by the typical 3 knocks you'd expect from a cheesy horror film. And occasionally the door would open too, and the footsteps would continue into my room, stop at my bed, and then leave down the long hall again. After years of this, I kind of got used to it. I never saw anything, only heard the footsteps, even back as a child. As a teen, I had friends over for a birthday sleepover, and halfway through a movie, I can't remember what we were watching, I glimpsed what looked like a solid shadow person in the hallway. I didn't say or do anything because I was 15 and kind of freaking out internally, but I glanced around quickly to see if maybe I was just going crazy and saw that the other girls were looking at it too. It sort of edged back until we couldn't see it anymore, and we all started freaking out and talking about what the hell was going on. After that, I started spotting solid shadows more frequently around the house and not just in the hallway. I also had a moment in the shower where I felt someone brush against me and then heard a breath in my ear that had me fly out the bathroom with a towel barely covering myself, dripping water throughout the house while we had company. Besides this, though, I eventually got to the point where for the most part when I saw something, I'd just get up and leave the room. Basically like, nope, not dealing with that. Anyway, I moved out for a little bit after having my first kid in the house that only had 2 weird things happen in it, which I'll make for a separate post for. But after I had my second one, I was back at home again due to COVID, keeping me out of a job and my ex and I splitting. And so it's now been a few years of living here again, and I thought of weird stuff had started happening, but then a few months ago, I was home alone with the kids, and 3 knocks came from my bedroom door while nobody was home and the kids were with me. A few weeks after that, I saw a solid shadow pass by my window on the outside, and I quickly closed the curtains. My baby monitor is always getting triggered by nothing too, but the real reason I'm sharing this is because a week ago, I had to give a bottle to and change my 2-year-old youngest son at like 2 a.m. And he was looking past me and then asked, "Who is that, Mommy?" He was looking at the hallway where my bedroom is. I couldn't see anyone, so I was like, "Nobody, buddy." And he goes, "Not nobody, that man." And I got chills. I sort of just went down the line of, "Don't worry about it," and tucked him back into bed. It kind of freaked me out that my kids are now seeing this stuff here. Not to mention I had to then walk back down that hallway by myself in the dark. So yeah, not quite sure what I can do about it. I looked into the history of the area and the land, and nothing seems amiss. Doesn't make sense for all this strange stuff to be happening here. And then that's it. That's everything that this user, No Economist 1871, stated in their encounter. So let's go ahead and let's share some comments on that here. First off, it was interesting that they pointed out that this was a newly built home, because the first natural thing that anyone thinks is, how old is the home? Obviously, if been there since the 1800s, there's going to be a lot of people living there, potentially dying there. But no, in this case, it was built brand new by the person's mom, and presumably they lived there for most of their life, went away, but then came back to that home. And so from their experience, nobody died there, obviously, during that time. But that doesn't negate the fact that there was obviously other stuff that could have happened there before that person lived there. A battle of some sort, or maybe some other type of tragedy, murders, something else that could have occurred in that land before that house was built. That's just the first inclination. And then the second thing, that happening in their house, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that is pretty creepy. I go on a lot of ghost hunts. You've seen me do this, not just live, but in some of the special edition videos that I do. But the way I do that is I know that it's happening away, right? It's happening at another location. I get to go home afterward, and then I get to be free of that stuff. But just imagine having that the opposite. Imagine this now occurring at your own home. You can't escape it. That's the kind of stuff that would be truly creepy. It's more of that paranoia of, when is the next thing going to happen? And in this case of the user, it was footsteps followed by some kind of breath that they described, and then almost like a touching sensation, like a brush. And then it seemed to go into the extreme involving the shadow people, the actual shadow people that I mentioned in some of my past videos. And then the user stating that no, it wasn't just them. It was some of the other friends that also saw these shadow people. Crazy, crazy stuff. That's the kind of stuff, again, that would freak me out, because you never know when the next part of it will happen there. But now it looks like it's happening not just to them, but also the kids that they have there as well. We always read about children and then teens and preteens just having this weird sense, like where they can see and hear more than your average adult does, and when it comes to the world of spirits. And so something is happening still at that location, and it's causing the children to be able to see and hear them. Thus far, the good news is nothing seems to be bad, like no malevolent stuff, malicious stuff, stuff that's just dangerous. No, it just seems like these spirits are just roaming around that part, and then when that happens, it freaks them out. But that seems to be the biggest extent there. But otherwise, the children are definitely going to have to experience that until, let's say, they move away or go someplace else, and that'll be left them. There was a tease about this happening apparently at another home that the user had, but they mentioned that they're going to post it in another area. But overall, interesting stuff. No, kind of freaky whenever you read this and realize, what the difference it makes. If it's happening someplace else, it's fine, but if it's happening at your place, then obviously that makes quite a big a difference. But if anybody has any more info, anything else I might have missed, then please post those comments below. What about those of you that live in a haunted house? I would love to hear what your own experiences are there. Some people have posted already in the comments, and I read them too, that it shows what they say has been occurring in their household. I love to hear what other people have to say about their own experiences. So if you have any, then please post it below, because I love to hear what that type of situation is. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.